Here at the Operating Engineers Journeyman Apprentice Training Fund Facility. We're set on about 560 acres here at the facility. We train our journeymen and apprentices that work for us on the state projects and on building projects throughout the state of Michigan.
And it's good to get out in the field and see where the real heroes of building roads are. So thank you for your hospitality today. We have a fairly full agenda with some pretty meaningful things to act upon. So we'll get right into it, although we will ask our director, Brad, do you have a few comments this morning to get us started?
Yeah, thank you. I don't have a presentation or anything, but just wanted to talk to you a little bit about some state and federal funding things that are going on right now. At the state level, there's really not a whole lot more to say other than what we've seen in the media. You know, the House has a plan that was sent to the Senate, has some very similar concepts as what the governor is thinking. Right now, it's really what happens with the backfill of funds that are currently the sales tax on fuel, which largely goes to education and some other revenue sharing pieces. You know, how do we backfill that piece? And I think that's where the gist of the discussion is right now. And that is being played out as part of the overall budget discussions right now. So really not a whole lot more for MDOT to say than that. On the federal side, there has been some movements. Not sure if I mentioned in previous meetings or not, but a lot of the grants, the discretionary grants from the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, those that had been announced but not yet obligated, which means the funding spigot hadn't quite been turned on yet, those were being held. There's very specific language in what's called a grant agreement that we have to sign before we can get to that point. There was a lot of concern after the change of administration on some of the verbiage that was in these grants, but because of some of the court actions and actions by others, we are being allowed to move forward on several of those. So that's good news. I think all told, we had about $500 million tied up in potential grants that had been announced but not yet obligated. So we're moving towards that. So that's a very positive sign. We did get a letter from USDOT recently that essentially said, with respect to the current president's executive orders, that they simply wouldn't enforce the orders of the prior administration. So, you know, the Biden administration had a lot of executive orders around things that are not as important to the current president. They didn't go so far as to say you can't do those things, but what they said was, we're just not going to enforce those. So again, I think that provided us a little more flexibility and ability to continue to move forward on our program. Sorry, I had a little bit of feedback there. The only other thing that I wanted to mention quickly is the Federal Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program, the DBE program. I think I've talked in the past about this. There's a court in Kentucky that has a preliminary injunction right now. Two contractors, actually one contractor and a trucking firm, are saying that the DBE program is not constitutional. The judge in the preliminary injunction said, okay, for only these two contractors, if they want to bid on a project in specific states, Michigan being one of them, we have to zero out the DBE goal. We expect a final decision probably within the next month or two. I think I've heard August and September. That will largely decide what the fate of the DBE program will be. In the meantime, Michigan and a lot of other states are being very proactive at what the next steps will be, and we are developing and really expanding our small business program. Every one of the DBEs is a small business, but as a small business program, it is race and gender neutral. So we're really going to double down on the small business aspect of it, including opportunities to have goal setting at the project level for small business involvement on our projects. We're currently introducing and discussing this with MITA and our contractors and others right now. But that's kind of our plan. We'll see what the fate of the DBE program is here in the next month or two, but we're really pivoting towards a more global small business program. So I think that's all I had today, unless you folks had any questions for me.
Are there any questions for the director? Guess we're going to be easy on you today. Thank you,
All
Brett.
right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go right into the agenda then. The minutes from the April 24th commission meeting were sent out. Are there any additions or edits that are needed in that?
Mr. Chair, I have one.
Okay, are you on there? Okay,
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Schultz, yes?
Under the director's report, part 3, where we talked about the 90% good and fair, I'd like the minutes to reflect that aside from interstates, that the STC sets that goal of 90% good and fair for road condition, and that I think I expressed at the meeting that I'd like to have further discussion about that. Both the work of MDOT with the 90% good and fair and the TAMC and how that percentage is set. We learned in a prior STC meeting that counties are using 90% good and fair as the measure, and that has a direct impact on how we identify financial needs for the system, which I think have merit for discussion given the road funding conversation that's occurring.
Would you have some suggested wording to add onto that first sentence then, such as
I would just say Commissioner Schultz requested that additional discussion occur at the STC regarding the percent good and fair target.
okay. Any other comments? We'll add that as a friendly amendment to the minutes. Okay. Then we'll take care of that. Any other questions or comments about the minutes from the April 24th meeting? If not, let's approve them. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Oppose? Okay, they stand approved. We have been hard at work, we being myself, Commissioner Salisbury, Commissioner Welborn, and the staff of at MDOT, some of the senior staff. Actually, a lot of the staff have been brought in, I know, by Amy and Laura and others, and of course Jack Cotter has been assisting us in that. Has been a policy review work group, and as you know, at the last couple of meetings, we've brought before the commission policies for updating, and this will today will be no exception. We have a few to bring before the commission for approval of updated versions or elimination of the policy in some circumstances. So we'll take care of that this morning. There are 5 listed. We'll probably act on 4. One really doesn't require action, as just saying it stands as it is. With that, if I think what Jack Cotter's been providing very able assistance to us, running interference kind of between all of us with various comments and concerns, and so I'd turn it over to Jack to run us through commission policies 1001, 10012, 10214, and 10240. Jack?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Commission Policy 10001 is the division of authority. And essentially, this is a complete rewrite of the policy, and the title is going to be changed as well. It covers STC approvals and reporting in relationship with the director.
Thank you, Jack. Are there questions on it? This has been something that dates way back and was dealt with in a lot of different ways through AG opinions and so on over time, and it's really overdue to be updated and reflect reality. But floor is open for questions or comments. I see none. Then I would put it before us for a motion to approve Commission Policy 10001 as revised.
So offered, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, that's been motion been made and seconded. Are there any additional comments? If not, Michael, would you call the roll?
For the revision of Commission Policy 10001, Chair Hayes.
Yes.
Vice Chair Salisbury.
Yes.
Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Commissioner Turner.
Yes.
Commissioner Schultz.
Yes.
Commissioner Wilburn.
Yes.
Chair, you have 6 votes positive. The revision passes.
Thank you. And Commission Policy 10012, Jack?
Thank you. It pertains to the state rail freight policy, and there were some recommended revisions to remove portions that relate to law. And these suggestions have been taken in conjunction with discussions with the MDOT rail folks, and there seems to be acceptance and agreement.
Okay, I think this was fairly forthright. Are there questions, concerns, or comments? If not, I'd entertain a motion on this policy.
I'll make a motion.
Commissioner Salisbury, is there support?
Support.
Commissioner Schultz, I think is where I heard that come from. Okay. Any additional discussion? If not, Michael, would you call the roll?
For the revision of Commission Policy 10012, Chair Hayes.
Yes.
Vice Chair Salisbury.
Yes.
Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Commissioner Turner.
Yes.
Commissioner Schultz.
Yes.
Commissioner Wilburn.
Yes.
Chair, you have 6 votes positive. The revision passes.
Thank you. Commission Policy 10214, Complete Streets, Jack?
The Complete Streets policy was essentially a rewrite. It shortened the policy to condense the scope a bit while conveying the appropriate concepts as delineated in law, and perhaps a bit more additional requirements as well.
Okay. Thank you, Jack. Comments, concerns regarding Commission Policy 10214?
Mr. Chair, I have some.
Commissioner Schultz?
Thank you. I'd like to compliment Amy and everyone who is on the subcommittee for working on this. I think it was elegantly done, kind of cleaning it up and then also making some improvements. I have a question and then 2 suggested tiny amendments. So the first question relates to the last sentence in the first paragraph. Just the way it reads, it says complete transportation networks prioritize safe transportation related outcomes by serving and connecting people, communities, and the economy. And it read funny to me, so I don't know if it was safety related outcomes and then comma and serving and connecting people. I don't know if that nuance makes a difference. I know you guys probably worked through that language quite a bit, but I was just trying to read that sentence and I just felt I was trying to understand what the outcomes and if it was an and instead of a by serving.
Okay, let me get on the right spot here. Tell me again where this is at.
The first paragraph, last sentence.
Is that part of the wording that we just said was part of the actual act, Jack, or I don't remember?
Microphone, Chairman.
Thank you. Jack, was that wording because it was part of the act, or?
Yeah, those exact words, I can't be certain that they're part of the act. I think they're, if nothing else, they're an attempt to paraphrase the act to put it in one sentence. So to complete transportation networks prioritize safe transportation-related outcomes by serving and connecting people, communities, and the economy. I mean, maybe an Oxford comma after communities might make it easier.
No, I think when I read it, I thought about having complete transportation networks prioritize safety-related outcomes, comma, and serving and connecting people, communities, and the economy. I know it's a nuance, but I don't know if that was,
Is that redundant with safe transportation? Or is that, you want to substitute for that word safe?
so instead of safe transportation, it would be safety-related outcomes. It's just deleting transportation and just revising the word safe to safety. And leave the rest? Yep. So complete transportation networks prioritize safety-related outcomes instead of safe transportation-related outcomes. Safety-related outcomes, comma, and serving and connecting people, communities, and the economy.
Now it's kind of, our discussion's coming back to me. It seems to me, and Commissioners Salisbury and Welborn can correct me, but it almost seemed like that wording maybe was talked about and that you're suggesting, and that was limiting by saying prioritize safety related as opposed to all other related outcomes. In other words, we're list one.
So you were
outcome.
thinking more broadly than
Yeah.
just, okay.
No,
All right, no, that's fine if that's how you interpreted it. I
Yeah.
just wanted to make sure I was,
that was my recollection.
Okay. okay, thank you.
Mr. Chair?
Yes. Yeah.
If I
Director.
might, I just wanted to point out that serving and connecting people, communities, and the economy through transportation is our mission statement. So that's likely where that part of the sentence came from.
Okay, thank you. The other two things I had were the second paragraph, again, last sentence. The policy intends to outline guidance for the promotion of complete streets principles in planning, designing, construction, or reconstruction. I'd ask that we could add maintenance to that, which aligns with the requirements on the second page where maintenance is also mentioned. So I think that's the first amendment I have. And then the second amendment I would suggest is, or do you want to take one at a time?
Yeah, one at a time, please. Unless they're related.
No, it's
No.
fine.
Planning, design, construction, or reconstruction, and you'd like to add maintenance.
Yes, please.
Construction, then it would read construction, reconstruction, or maintenance.
Yes.
Does anybody recall why we don't have maintenance listed per se? Jack?
This time I do recall that the construction and reconstruction is basically, its genesis was the law. So, and maintenance is not in the law. So there's nothing forbidding you from adding maintenance to it, but that's where that language came from in this case.
Well, let me think about that for a minute, though. If maintenance was not in the law, then let me just, a little tongue-in-cheek question here. So coming across 59 just now, the MDOT crews were there doing maintenance, which was cutting down tree branches that were hanging over, I think, on the roadway. And so would they have to go through a process of considering the complete streets policy when they go to do routine maintenance like that? I know that's kind of absurd, but I'm taking it to the absurd level to make sure maintenance makes sense.
I would say no. The reason I'm suggesting that we add maintenance is that there's many times where, for example, it might be a simple road and mill resurface project on a 4-lane road, and the opportunity to convert it to a 3-lane, right, for a safe center turn lane, presents itself because you're going to be putting stripes on that road no matter what. Currently, if it's maintenance, that doesn't get a review for complete streets in the same way a reconstruction project would. Another example is Plainfield Township, and I've shared that this example with the director, that it was a two-course heavy resurface, and it was just a maintenance project of just resurfacing it. But the township felt very strongly about the opportunity to leverage the maintenance dollars to be able to actually secure CDBG dollars to create additional pedestrian improvements with audible pedestrian signals and crosswalk enhancements as part of the overall work outside of MDOT's work. It costs MDOT no more additional dollars, but had not the township been aware of it, because townships are not in control of their roads, and many MDOT roads go through townships, that coordination, even on some of these simple maintenance projects, are precluding opportunities from happening that could make for safer streets and accommodate more facilities.
I guess I'll ask a naive question, and that doesn't fall under reconstruction? Director, would you comment on that?
Yeah, sure. So in our capital program that this largely applies to, we have reconstruct projects, obviously this applies to. We have rehabilitation projects that this would apply to. We also have capital preventive maintenance projects that this would apply to. Those would be, you know, the chip seals, the thin resurfacings, you know, those sorts of things that are, they're preventive maintenance, but they were included in our capital program, and therefore the complete streets would apply. Very little of what we do on the maintenance side of the ledger would be considered resurfacing. Most of what we do on the maintenance side of the ledger is the tree trimming, pothole patching, maybe some crack filling, stuff like that. So those projects do not have a planning phase. Those are kind of not part of our capital development program. And the opportunity, the projects that might have opportunity are very small when it comes to the maintenance side of the ledger.
So if it were policy to have, if maintenance were here, then would that require that box be checked for every single maintenance project that's ever done by MDOT?
It probably would if it was in the policy. Yeah, and yeah, I guess what I'm saying is that the opportunity to do much with maintenance is extremely limited. Capital preventive maintenance, which does include those surfacings and chip seals and whatnot, is part of the capital program, therefore this would apply.
So I'm fine withdrawing the request to have maintenance amended to this for that reason, but I think I'm just a little bit uncomfortable making sure that capital preventative maintenance it's recognized when maintenance projects like that, like the two-course resurface or that those are recognized by whether it's administrative procedure or just it's an interpretation of this to make sure that applies.
Absolutely. And actually, once you get to a two-course overlay, that's a rehabilitation project. We can't even do two-course with capital preventive maintenance. So it's, the capital preventive maintenance program would be covered by this, as stated.
So clarity, I think, for the region offices on that matter would be useful.
Yeah, I think there are clarity that we need to provide staff across the department on this. Absolutely agree with you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. And then was there another one that you?
Yeah, and maybe this is in the same vein, but the second request I had was in the first paragraph on page 2, under requirements, the last sentence, part B, so the help identify opportunities, finance plan, design, construct, rehab, blah, 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 and maintain complete street networks as recognized by each transportation infrastructure jurisdiction. Maybe it's already inferred that MDOT is part of that, but we mentioned partnerships in this proposal, or in this policy, and I don't know if it makes a difference or not, but having it say MDOT in each infrastructure jurisdiction, just to reinforce that partnership, and to, again, try to make sure that we're thinking creatively and working together to achieve complete streets.
So you're suggesting complete streets networks as recognized by MDOT and each transportation infrastructure jurisdiction?
Yes.
I think it's a given, but I don't think I'd have any trouble seeing that in there, but I'd open for comment.
I don't think it's a problem.
We'll accept that as a friendly amendment then, by recognized by, after the word by, MDOT and each transportation infrastructure jurisdiction.
Yes.
Is everyone okay with that? Okay, anything else, Commissioner Schultz?
No more amendments. Thank you.
Okay. Are there any additional comments, concerns, or suggestions? If not, Michael, would you call the roll on passage? Well, no, I need a motion.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Welborn. Second by Commissioner Salisbury. Now I can say, Michael, can you call the roll, please?
Certainly. For the revisions of Commission Policy 10214, Chair Hayes.
Yes.
Vice Chair Salisbury.
Yes.
Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Commissioner Turner. Yes. Commissioner Schultz.
Yes.
Commissioner Welborn.
Yes.
Chair, you have 6 votes positive. The revisions pass.
Very good. Thank you all very much. Thank you for the dialogue on that, Commissioner Schultz. Jack, let's go to Commission Policy 10240, Tribal Affairs. I would just make one preliminary comment, and that is a lot of what's in this policy was a lot was driven by kind of federal guidelines and requirements, and so it's probably a little more prescriptive than a lot of what we've done on a lot of other policies, but it's we don't have a lot of choice, I guess. So with that, Jack.
Thank you. There were some minor revisions made to remove references to specific executive directives that go back many years. And now the policy can stand on its own, and I believe that MDOT worked closely with the tribes to give them a chance to look at the language, and they had no suggestions that I'm aware of, so it's up to us now.
Okay. Are there comments, concerns, questions about the revised policy? Okay. Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve.
Make the motion.
Commissioner Salisbury,
A second?
second Commissioner Schultz. Any further discussion? If not, Michael, would you call the roll, please?
For the revision of Commission Policy 10240 on Tribal Affairs, Chair Hayes.
Yes.
Vice Chair Salisbury.
Yes.
Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Commissioner Turner. Yes. Commissioner Schultz.
Yes.
Commissioner Welborn.
Yes.
Chair, you have 6 votes positive. The revision passes.
Very good. Well, thank you all very much, and thank you for all the hard work and thoughtfulness on these policies. We pretty well have wrapped up our work on the project. There are a couple of policies that, what would I say, are not timely. We're waiting for some federal decisions, some court decisions and so on that preclude us. And there's also always a possibility of new policy, of course, and there's some discussion around possibilities there. But as far as the overview or the review of all existing State Transportation Commission policy, for the most part, we've completed our work. And again, I would thank everybody involved, especially Commissioners Salisbury and Welborn. This required quite a few hours offline with a lot of discussion and thoughtfulness, so really appreciate that. Any other comments before we move forward?
I just want to thank all of you for your work.
Oh, thank you, Commissioner Schultz. It's laborious, but it's worthwhile because now we can rest comfortably that the policies are up to date, that they make sense. You know, you start into this and you look at something that was adopted 20, 25, 30 years ago and look at today, and sometimes they just don't make sense. So I think now we're in pretty good shape. Okay, moving on then to Commission Business Item C, the Transportation Asset Management Council appointment. Michael?
Yes, the Michigan Association of Regions has nominated James Snell to be seated on the Transportation Asset Management Council. His new term will start August 2025 and will end in August 2028.
I have a motion.
Make the motion.
Commissioner Salisbury? Okay, and Commissioner's been supported by Commissioner Turner. Are there any comments or concerns? If not, we don't have to call the roll on these, do we? No. Okay. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Okay, unanimous. And then item D, County Road Association Local Bridge Advisory Board appointment nominations.
Yes, we've got 3 nominations for the County Road Association to be placed on the statewide Local Bridge Advisory Board. We have Kelly Jones, who is Managing Director of the Ingham County Road Department, Wayne Harrell, Deputy Managing Director of Engineering at Kent County Road Commission, and Douglas Mills, Engineering Manager of the Baraga County Road Commission.
I would entertain a motion to make those appointments.
I'll make the motion.
Commissioner Salisbury.
A second?
Commissioner Schultz, seconded. Any discussion?
I have just a question. How long is each term for these appointees?
Check on that one for you.
It's a good question. I don't see it in the documentation.
Jack, where's?
Do I know? I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's not going to
check into that.
Yeah, it's not going to preclude me from voting. I just was curious.
Yeah, we can check into that.
So could the motion be that we approve the appointment for a length of time indicated?
Under PA 51?
There you go.
Statute?
Yeah, under Public Act 51.
Yeah.
Does that sound like an appropriate motion? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, any additional discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Same sign if you're opposed. Okay. Those have passed. All right, let's go into the oversight and informational reports. Patrick, welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. A few of the reports in your packet I would like to present. The first is a document titled the Quarterly Bid Letting Summary for the third quarter, which documents all items MDOT let for April, May, and June of 2025. In quarter three, MDOT let 144 projects. The second document, titled Bid Letting Trends, Fiscal Year 23 through 25 for quarter three, documents various trends in the bid letting process, including the number of projects let, the number of single bidders, and the number of all bids rejected, as well as payments made to contractors for the third quarter of 23 through 25. And the third document, titled Michigan Department of Transportation Procurement Card Fiscal Year 2025 Third Quarter, documents the number of procurement card transactions and the total amount paid against procurement cards for the third quarter of 2025, which again is April through June of 2025, as well as identifies procurement card transactions that are currently being monitored. Do you have any questions about any of these reports?
Patrick, I think just, this isn't a criticism at all. This is just going forward, probably if we can be referred to the pages in our packet that your comments apply to. That would help people get to the right pages.
Sure, absolutely. So everything I presented was page 16 through 60, I believe, in your packet. But I will make that note for next time.
Sounds right. Yeah, that's. Any comments on Patrick's presentation or pages up to page 60? If not,
Thank you.
yeah, thank you very much, Patrick. The bid justification summary, Dee Parker.
Good morning, Commissioners. I would like to draw your attention to pages 62 through 88.
Thank you.
Titled the Quarterly Bid Justification Summary for the Third Quarter of Fiscal Year 2025. Within those pages, you will see our 2025 fiscal year program graph dating back to October 2024 through June of 2025. You will also see a scatter chart and graphs showing where bids fell within the target range of plus or minus 10%. You will also see a justification rejection reports and memos for the third quarter, April 2025 through June of 2025. At this time, do you have any questions comments, or concerns regarding pages 62 through 88?
Not that I didn't commit every page to memory. I didn't want my comments earlier to be confused. But are there questions of Dee? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And real estate services section?
For your information, I'd like to draw your attention to page 89, titled Commissioner Summary, Real Estate Services Section, Disposal of Real Property Interest. You will see a list of excess properties that are being sold. Do you have any questions, comments, or concerns in regards to page 89?
No, I think we're all set. Thank you, Dee.
Thank you.
It's a really long list.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. Yes.
I like short lists. Jason, final construction contracts, extras and overruns.
Good morning, Commission. Happy to be here. I have the Exhibit B summary I'll be presenting. So for the months of April, May, and June 2025, MDOT finalized 50 projects totaling approximately $432 million. 2 projects were more than 10% over the original contract amount, and 25 projects came in under the original contract value. The final monthly costs were respectively negative 0.59, 2.37, and 4.26% when compared to the original contract amount. Calendar year averaging is 3.01 over, which is a little higher than we typically have run. There are a handful of projects that I can provide to commission at a later date if they're interested in knowing why that number has crept up of late. It is, like I said, just a handful of projects, not a global issue at this point for MDOT projects. The local agency projects for that same period of time, 103 projects were finalized, totaling approximately $116 million. 7 projects were more than 10% over the original contract amount, and 63 projects came in under their original contract value. There are 4 MDOT projects in the exhibit and 6 local agency projects, and I can try to entertain any questions on Exhibit B or those projects.
Jason, I had a comment on page 92, that summary of MDOT projects to date in 2025 showing a 3.01, which is significantly different. And you just alluded to that there were, a few large projects that has driven that?
Yes, as an example, I just looked at that before coming up here. There's a $100 million project that was, I think, had an $8 million overage. And then there's another project that has about $3 million overage, a little bit less than that. Those 2 projects can sway all the other little projects that are in there. I can provide a little briefing as to what those projects might have done. They won't necessarily trigger the 10% and be at commission, but those numbers are substantial enough that it throws the whole value up, because those overages on those jobs are large values, but not large enough to trigger that project.
But they are large money.
It is very large money, and yes.
And given the scope of activity that MDOT's, delved into in the last couple of years because of the bonding and so on, we've been able to do a couple of large projects. So I guess what I'm hearing, if I'm reading between the lines, is you understand it, but you're not very concerned. That doesn't sound right. I'm not being judgmental, but it doesn't cause you a lot of concern that we're at a 3.0 level.
Yeah, I don't think MDOT's performance or trend is really showing that. I think we have some specific projects that can be explained. One example is fixed price variable scope projects, which I know we've talked about in the past, but the minute we bid those, they're X value. And then if the prices and the programming allows us to increase monies, that is a substantial amount of additional funds in those projects, and it would look to the average citizen of being, wow, you really overcommitted on that project by spending so much more money than your budget. But that's how those projects are designed. If we get appropriate bid values and we have additional funding, we can add contract work. And I'm probably, there's different categories of that, and it's, when I say fixed price variable scope, I'm really meaning some other categories of projects where we can add work, and in some cases we have just added work because the bid savings were greater than we thought, and we just increased that project's work within that same construction influence area. And that's usually repair jobs where we're doing work there, and it's like we have additional funding to repair a little bit more pavement than we thought we would have.
Okay. Other comments or concerns for Jason? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
For all 3 of them? So just a clarification, Michael informs me that we got clarification on those earlier appointments. They're 2-year terms. Okay, let's move on then to the presentations. The draft, as you know, this time of year, every year we receive the draft 5-year transportation program. So this is this isn't the start of the process. Start of the process was all the heavy lifting that the department does. But from our perspective, the start of the process is this draft. Is that correct?
That is correct, Commissioner
Michael,
Davis.
would you
Yes,
enlighten us?
I would be happy to. So good morning, Commissioners, Mr. Director, everyone. MDOT's Bureau of Transportation Planning is pleased to present to you the 5-year transportation program draft covering fiscal years 2026 through 2030. As noted in your agendas, this is an action item, and our request today will be for you to approve the posting of the 5-year program document and information on the MDOT website, and open the public comment period for approximately 30 days, starting tomorrow, August 1st, and ending September 1st. So just a little bit of context and a refresher before I jump into the numbers. The 5-year program, or 5YTP, is really a high-level snapshot in time for where MDOT is with the trunk line highway, public transportation, and aeronautics revenue, anticipated investments, and performance measures over the next 5 years. Our core requirement for this is before March 1st of each year, we're required to deliver to the legislature, state budget director, House and Senate fiscal agencies a rolling 5-year plan listing by county of trunk line highway projects. And on top of that, this is an opportunity for us to share and receive feedback from the public on where we are at a high level over the next 5 years with trunk line investments and public transportation and aeronautics. So again, from a high level here, over the next 5 years, MDOT is anticipating a total investment of $15.2 billion. That covers approximately $10.6 billion in the trunk line side of the highway program, $2.9 billion in bus and marine, $809 million in rail and ports, and $900 million in aeronautics. When we look at the numbers from a high level, sometimes we might see bus and marine and rail and ports combined together. So those are both under the public transportation program, under MDOT's umbrella.
Michael, can I interrupt you for 1 second?
Sure.
Just while that previous slide,
Yes.
there's a bunch of them that look like this throughout. I just found that graphic, maybe to me, a little confusing. Are those wedges that are the multicolored ones small like that because if you extended them out, they'd be very, very thin? No, my logic, I just don't understand the graphic of why they look so out of place compared to the Pac-Man swallowing them up.
I love that analogy, by the way. I'm a Pac-Man fan. So the pie graph really is more of I believe it is a decision based on design and space for all of the text to fit within a square. But if we prefer the full-size, round, complete pie, we could always maybe switch to that before we bring the document back to the commission in the November timeframe.
I guess I'd ask you to take a look at it because you look at it on each page and it just kind of startles you. It's like, what are they trying to convey here? It doesn't seem to be forthright, but
Sure.
maybe it's just me, but
I could always take that back to our design team
okay,
at
thank you.
MDOT in communications and convey that.
Mr. Chair, I have an additional question. I see the safe routes to school picture on here. Does like non-motorized and all of that fall under highway then?
Non-motorized all falls under highway. That's correct.
After we just adopted complete streets policy?
Yes. And I will emphasize this is high level. So
Yes.
at this stage in the process, a lot of things are really not yet fully budgeted yet. They're engineers' estimates. The first 2 years of the program are typically pretty solid, but those last 3 years really are still going through some scoping and some engineering. So a lot of this stage is not necessarily known at this point.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so I'll keep going here.
Yes,
Feel
please.
free to pipe in with any more questions if you have them. I appreciate that. Okay, so building on that comment here, so the highway program, again, $10.6 billion. We see that broken down between roads and bridges. Between those two, we've got about $6.3 billion. That includes pre-construction activities or anticipated pre-construction activities as well. So, engineering, scoping, right-of-way, environmental, that's all included in there. It also includes, for the I-94 trunk line modernization, about $749 million. That's the I-94 modernization project. Blue Water Bridge Plaza is also incorporated into that number under bridges. That's $560 million for anticipated construction activity over the next 5 years. So moving down, we see $2.6 billion for routine maintenance, thankfully billion. That's a lot of activities covering things such as pothole filling and snow plowing, as well as all the facilities, vehicles, equipment necessary for those activities. There's $910 million approximately for system safety management and operations. That covers signage, pavement markings, traffic signals, and other operational improvements. We have almost $57 million for roadside facilities. That's rest areas, wetland pre-mitigation, noise barriers, carpool parking lots. And then at the bottom, almost $663 million under additional state and federally funded programs. So those are things like transportation alternatives, recreation trails, and additional program development, scoping, and training activities. So looking at it by year here, this bar graph separates the preservation program from routine maintenance. So preservation is where repairs, replacements, and other fixes that improve condition are funded. So that blue bar total is approximately $7.9 billion. And again, we see at the top routine maintenance at $2.6 billion total. So moving on, before I move on to this, I would just like to note in fiscal year 26, it's not shown in this bar graph, but there is a small amount of bond funding anticipated in that year of $31 million for the US 131 from Grand Elk Railroad to 100th Street North, 100th Street in the Grand region. It was too small to show in the bar. All right, so again, under passenger transportation program, this falls under public transportation here. We're looking at $2.9 billion over the next 5 years. I realize this table may be a little difficult to see for anyone looking at it online, but I'll just add the majority of funds here under that $2.9 billion is really for preserving local bus operating for transit agencies to maintain current services, and transit capital, which is intended to preserve the state-subsidized intercity bus service and terminal development. So for all these programs, public transportation, aeronautics, rail, a lot of this is determined by Act 51, which determines how the Comprehensive Transportation Fund, or CTF, is expended. So, so the way this is budgeted out really falls under that purview.
Mr. Chair, I have a question on that.
Commissioner Schultz?
For transit then, so for road projects, you get a list of projects that local agencies or regions would like to implement, and then it goes into this. But how does that same thing work for transit? Do we have a comprehensive transit plan that shows the needs of their systems and what they would like to invest in, and does that inform this budget?
Yeah, there's a separate document from this, the Transit Asset Management Plan, that covers what the needs are and how a lot of the funds that are anticipated to be available over the course of time will be invested in meeting those needs. As I understand it, for these programs, it really works as sort of a pass-through to local agencies through MDOT. But there are some specific projects that MDOT does, I think mostly with rail and ports, where we're more involved with the public agencies in delivering those. So not quite the same as Trunkline Highway, where we can say we're going to do all these projects, but there is information available online that shows in more detail where that money would go.
Looks like Laura Mester may have something to say. Sure.
You're going to have me stand under the hook, Laura.
Oh, no worries. I think to answer your specific question, we do not have a comprehensive plan for all of our transit agencies, but that is something that we're working with the Office of Future Mobility and Electrification to look at through Gene Roosman to see what we could do to better connect all of our communities through a more comprehensive plan. And I think that gets to your question. What Michael was talking about is we coordinate the capital program with the transit agencies because we're required by law to match their federal aid with CTF. And so when you look at facilities, we have a breakdown between urbans and then our rurals. We're not responsible for the urbans because they get their federal aid directly, but the rurals, we do try to facilitate their capital needs, both bus equipment and their facilities. And so it's different, where we hope with the comprehensive plan, it will bring it all into a better perspective of what the needs of our Michigan good Lord, citizens are.
That would be
I hope that helps.
Yeah, no, that
Yeah.
would be amazing. Thank you.
Okay.
That's what I was getting at.
I thought so, okay.
Do you want to stay?
Oh, no.
Thank you, Laura. Oh, that answers your question, Commissioner Schultz. Thank you. All right, so we're going to keep moving forward here. So rail freight and port program, again, this is under public transportation, anticipating $809 million over the next 5 years. Just point out, the majority of that goes to rail operations and infrastructure. And I'll cover a little bit more about what's in that when I'm looking at and presenting to you the 2026 program that's coming up. So $900 million for aeronautics program over the next 5 years. We see that pretty evenly split across the airport improvement program, which is focused on preserving critical infrastructure, particularly pavements, navigational aids, and protecting airspace. And the grant programs under, it's listed here, bipartisan infrastructure law, but it's now being referred to collectively across agencies as IIJA. So that is, again, a grant program for infrastructure improvements statewide. All right, so looking at the 2026 program, we're looking at just a little over $3 billion total for the upcoming fiscal year. That's split between $2.1 billion in Trunkline Highway, $560 million for public transportation, that includes marine, $159 million for rail and ports, and $240 million in aeronautics. So just going to briefly cover what we're looking at for the next fiscal year. Again, $2.1 billion for highway. So we see the majority of this, $744 million in repairing and rebuilding roads. There's a couple of larger projects coming up, specifically US 23 from School Road to Ida Center Road. And again, that Grand Region Bond project is in fiscal year 26 as well, 131 from Grand Elk Railroad North to 100th Street. We have $331 million in repairing and rebuilding bridges. $90 million of that represents construction activity on the Blue Water Bridge Plaza. There's $216 million planned under Trunkline modernization. That is the I-94 modernization project. $504 million for routine maintenance. Just a note on that, that's a pretty firm number at this point in that it's determined by the governor's executive budget recommendation. So for every year out from 26, we anticipate a small amount of growth at about 2 to 2.5%. But we don't actually know that routine maintenance number until that governor's executive budget comes out. Under System Safety Management and Operations, we've got $192 million and $113 million for program development, scoping, training, and transportation alternatives under other state and federally funded programs. For Bus and Marine, again, under Public Transportation, we've got $560 million. This is consistent with the overall Bus and Marine program, in that the majority of funds at $229 million are for preserving local bus operating for transit, again, maintaining current services, and transit capital at $215 million to maintain the state-subsidized intercity bus services and terminal development. We also see here, albeit smaller amounts, preservation and possible expansion of state-subsidized intercity bus, as well as some service initiatives, including van pool and other projects that improve local and regional mobility. So looking at rail and ports, under public transportation, we have $159 million. Again, the greatest share is going to operations and infrastructure at $148 million. So under that, we've got things like Amtrak operations, equipment, and service plans for the 3 Michigan routes, the Wolverine, Blue Water, and Pere Marquette. There's maintenance and capital investments in the Kalamazoo-Dearborn Corridor Capital projects. That includes track curve modification and signal work, and freight rail improvements, including replacement of the Manistee River Bridge. Also supported are port development, so that's for the Detroit-Wayne County Port Authority. Grade crossing safety improvements covering local and state roads, and property management, things like right-of-way requests, ownership interest, and Office of Rail, and so on. So wrapping up investments for 2026 aeronautics, we've got $240 million. Again, that's split between these 2 big areas here. The Airport Improvement Program, again, that's, pavements, navigational aids, and airspace, protecting that. Grant programs for infrastructure improvements under IIJA, and supporting statewide efforts. We see it at the bottom here for the Air Service Program. That's for attracting and retaining air service through the implementation of that program. Mentioned our comment period anticipated with your approval to start tomorrow and end on September 1st. We have, as in years past, a variety of techniques to help tell the story about the capital program and engage as broad of an audience as possible with the comment opportunity. And with that, I'm going to conclude the presentation with just reiterating our request to approve the draft fiscal year 26 to 2030 5-year transportation program, posting it online, and opening the 30-day public comment period. And happy to take any more questions if you have them.
Questions, comments, concerns? If not, I'd entertain a motion to, as requested, on that particular slide. We post the draft.
So moved.
Commissioner Walber moved. Commissioner Salisbury seconded. Is there any additional discussion? If not, we don't need a roll on that, do we? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Passes unanimously. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you so much, and see you in November.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioners. Let's move on then to the Transportation Career Pathways Program. Nathan?
Morning, Commission. My name is Nathan Anselman. I'm the Transportation Career Pathways Coordinator. This is the new program at MDOT. We are just going to finish our first fiscal year coming this September 30th. So the purpose of this program is MDOT has seen that we need to work with not only our outside partners, but also bring in new talent as there are less and less individuals coming into our workforce and the population is getting smaller. So in the future, we're hoping to elevate partners with our industries, That way we can combine our resources instead of fighting for each other. We can kind of push out the idea of transportation as a career and an impact within the community. The purpose of this program, or the platform of it, is to basically just showcase the careers that are available to students, because many individuals do not understand the career opportunities that are out there within the transportation industry. So we like to go to fairs, we like to talk to school counselors, we just like to put the information out so that students are able to make an educated decision on what they want to do within their future. And we have two paths. One is a workforce program or workforce development program, and then the educational outreach portion, making students and teachers and faculty aware of the opportunities that their students have. As I said, one of the main reasons that we did it is that we see that there is an aging workforce within MDOT and within the transportation industry as a whole, and we need to make sure that these positions are getting filled so that we're not losing any of that information and that knowledge that people tend to get rid of as they leave the career. It's not being passed down to new people coming in. A large section of our workforce are what we call transportation maintenance workers and transportation technicians. They make up about 30% of our workforce, and they are some of the highest aging populations within MDOT. So our first part is our summer workforce program. MDOT determined that we needed an alternative to just our college internship program. This program allows individuals that are 18 plus with a driver's license to come and work with MDOT during a set period in the summer from May through September, being able to actually go out in the field and do the hands-on work itself. Because we know that not everybody needs to go to a four-year college. We want to start capturing those individuals who don't need to get that four-year degree, because we have a lot of individuals that, or positions that just require a high school diploma, a certification, a license. And we want to make sure that we're not losing those individuals because they're just not aware of the positions that we have. So allowing them to work with us this summer, they're able to, excuse me, they're able to work a position, understand what it takes to be in that position. We allow them to job shadow other positions that they see at MDOT to give them a broader idea of the careers that we have, and we also introduce them to our partners while we're on large construction sites so that they're made aware of the positions that those industries have as well. The idea of this program is not strictly just to get people employed at MDOT, it's strictly to get them into the transportation industry as a whole as they're moving forward. And we just have a couple pictures of people out there. We have individuals that are cutting down trees, filling potholes. We have transportation technicians going out helping with surveys. They're watching and doing the material maintenance and those activities as well. This past summer in 2024 was the first summer we launched the program. We had 23 participants across 5 regions. Of that, we were able to hire 2 full-time individuals at MDOT and 1 as a seasonal maintenance worker for winter. This year, we were able to hire 17, and currently there is 1 individual that has been accepted for an interview for a full-time position this fall. But the idea of this program is to make sure that they're integrated within MDOT and have a better understanding of their prospects moving forward. The other part of this is that outreach effort within the K-12 community. So we have partnered with a lot of organizations. We come to the Operators Michigan Construction Career Days event here. We partner with Lansing, not Lansing, the Construction Science Expo at Lansing in Detroit. So we're trying to do as much collaboration at these events to make sure that individuals are aware of all the careers within transportation, and as possible, we do the Introduce a Girl to Engineering Day, and this year we spent a very targeted amount of time going to career tech centers and high school career fairs, making sure that their students are aware of these programs or positions that are out there within the industry as a whole. We also went forth and did a presentation this year at the Michigan Career Educational Conference. They're basically all the teachers who are teaching at a tech center. We presented on why these careers are important, partnerships that we have, and opportunities for our Transportation Career Pathways program. Another large event that we like to hit were the Michigan Career Fests, because these target specifically students who are in 8th, 9th, and 10th grade. We know that usually by the time you get to that junior, senior year, you have a general idea of what they want to do as a career. So we're making sure that we're introducing students at a younger age so that they're more aware of their opportunities as they move forward. And it also allows us to hit larger numbers of students because, as you can see, A lot of these events have 1,000+ students. Overall, this past academic school year, we were in contact with about 48,000 students across the state of Michigan. And while we're there, we make sure we set up a booth. We bring road construction materials. At each event, we try to bring a different group of individuals that is able to talk with them. Transportation maintenance workers, we've had our ground penetrating radar group there. We've had technicians, we've had engineers. That way students are able to actually talk to the individuals that are doing this work and get a better understanding of what they would do as a career. We try to bring equipment whenever possible so that students can interact with it and make sure that they see what opportunities they have at MDOT and what they would be doing firsthand while in the job. And then why we do it, strictly the exposure to transportation-related careers and concepts. A lot of schools don't push these type of careers. A lot of them just aren't on people's radar other than maybe engineering. But even within that, they don't push the type of engineering that we use in transportation. So we like to make sure that they are aware of that civil engineering is a branch of engineering that they can go into. We like to make sure that students who like to use their hands but are also like the math and sciences, that there are programs and opportunities for them as well within the transportation industry. And we know that investment now will pay out for us later. We don't necessarily expect to see large dividends these first couple years, but in the future we're hoping that the more education, outreach, and relationships that we can build with schools and communities will help drive people into our career paths, not only at MDOT, but within transportation as a whole for individuals like operating engineers, HNTB, and all of our partner organizations, because we work together as a whole to make sure that our transportation system is together, and if one is not as strong as the other, we're not going to be able to do the best quality work that we can. Do you have any questions?
It's an excellent presentation and exciting one, Nathan. Thank you very much. Are there questions? Got to get those young people in the pipeline here and for the future. So that's great. We gray hairs got to get out of the way. Let the young people work their magic. Okay, thank you, Nathan, very much. All right, being no further business on our agenda, we'll go to the public comment period. Michael, do we have public comment?
Yeah, we have one public comment from Jack Hoffman. He'd like to step forward. Go ahead, go up to the mic. Yep. You have 2 minutes.
We put the mic over there, Mr. Hoffman, because we were afraid that hook over there over your head might be intimidating. We didn't.
When the 2 minutes is up or 3 minutes is up, I get booked. That's great.
Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Complete transportation funding in Michigan can be achieved without raising taxes and without raiding the school aid and economic development funds by assessing a weight distance regulatory fee on heavy trucks. Consider the following facts. Currently under Act 51, the per capita distributions for county, state, and city are $260, $170, and $140 respectively. The state share is divided 75% roads and 25% all other modes of transportation, which are identified as comprehensive transportation. The comprehensive transportation share of $40 per capita is divided 50% to public transportation and 50% to all other modes. The current House plan calls for funding increases of $180 per capita for county roads, $120 per capita for city roads, $58 per capita for state roads, and $5 per capita for public transportation. The increases will be funded by diverting funds from schools, state, economic development, and comprehensive transportation. There is a better way. A mileage and weight-based regulatory fee on heavy trucks of 60 cents per mile would raise $4 billion per year in new revenue. Representative Morgan's House Bill 4120, raising comprehensive transportation distributions from auto-related sales tax to their constitutional levels, would raise an additional $300 million. Transportation needs for Michigan are $800 per capita, distributed half local and half state. Current Act 51 revenue with new complete transportation revenue will generate $400 per capita for the state, with $100 per capita going to comprehensive transportation. Revenues distributed to counties and cities at $400 per capita will be restricted to transportation purposes as determined by the local unit of government. Turn the page. A complete transportation funding program based on a weight distance regulatory fee on heavy trucks will generate $1 billion for comprehensive transportation from the state, an increase of $600 million from the Act 51 distributions. Additional comprehensive transportation revenue would be available as authorized by local units of government. State school aid and state economic development programs are left harmless. No taxes are raised. Thank you for your attention.
And thank you, Mr. Hoffman, for taking the time to come and make your comments. Glad to see you're engaged with the legislature, since we all have a concern there. All right, are there any additional public comments? Are there any additional comments from any of the commissioners? If not, thank you all very much for being here. Thank you for all of the commissioners being here and MDOT staff. And once again, thank you, Commissioner Salisbury, for your hospitality today. We really do appreciate it. Our next meeting will be November 6th. Location to be determined. We haven't been talking about anything in particular, have we? So it might likely be right back in Lansing where we usually meet, but we'll see. With that, the State Transportation Commission will adjourn.